Good morning, everybody. Time for a little bit of coffee this morning. Okay. The other day I did a video on the practical joke that my nephews did on me in my cupboard with my dishes. And a lot of people, I kind of hinted around that we do this all the time, and they asked for some more examples of something that we did to each other. So yeah, I'm going to tell you a little story. A practical joke 6 months in the making. So let me set the stage. At one point, I lived with my nephew Paul and his wife in a townhome. I had a basement apartment, and they lived on the 2 floors above that. And, you know, no issues there. We had, except Paul kind of likes to be the instigator in a lot of these things. And so what Paul used to like to do, now in my basement setup, it wasn't like a full basement apartment. I had a little kitchen area, I had a little area with a TV, and a place for a bed with a futon, all kind of one room, and then I had a separate bathroom. So I used to have this big futon, an oversized stuffed futon couch pillow thing. And after a while of living by yourself, you don't change the futon from bed to couch, bed to couch, bed to couch. You just leave it as a bed most of the time, right? And he used to like to sneak down after a hard day at work, walking around in steel-toed shoes and everything, and take dirty socks and hide them under my pillow when I wasn't there. We worked 2 different shifts, by the way, so it was easy to do. And so I'd come home tired, get ready for bed, crawl into bed, and I'd have this smell in my face, and I'd reach underneath, and there's a stinky socks under my pillows. Ha 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 ha, that's his practical joke. So I decided I had to get back at him somehow, and I decided he got me with socks, so let's see what I can do to his feet. And the only thing I can think of, he wears these steel-toed boots. Now, if you haven't seen my nephew Paul standing next to me and my nephew Mark, he's a little bit shorter than we are, and he has a little smaller feet, shall we say. So I went and, oh, by the way, he had cats at the time, and so I rounded up some cat litter droppings, cat poop, if you will, and I shoved it up into the toes area of his steel-toed boots. Mushed it all up there, like this thick, because I knew his feet didn't really reach the end of the boot. His feet always were just, they didn't fit him properly. So I kept waiting, and I kept waiting for him to mention something. Oh, ha ha, very funny, you put cat poop in my shoes. And nothing happened, and I guess I go, well, at some point I just totally forgot about it. Until 6 months later. And here's the catchy point. I'm upstairs, we're all sitting there, just had dinner together, and we're talking in the living room, and Paul's wife is just saying how, man, his feet stink lately. Doesn't know what it is, but for months now they've been way worse than they've ever been. And that's when a light bulb went off in my head. And I said, oh, so did you ever remove the cat poop from your shoes? No. So He has been walking around with cat droppings tucked into the toes of his shoes for 6 months. Now I know they probably got rock hard and powdery and all that, but if you think about it, the sweat from your feet and everything in steel-toed boots walking around all day long, eventually it moistens up everything inside, so it was making his feet really, really stink. And he was getting such a hard time from his wife. His wife used to make him, when he came home, he'd have to wash his feet immediately walking in the door. That's how bad they were getting. Unbeknownst to me, I thought the joke misfired and never happened and disappeared. But lo and behold, it turned out to be a 6-month-long practical joke that I now know worked. At the time, I thought did not. But that's one of the ones that I remember fondly. Just because it was an unintentional, long-lasting joke. But that just goes to show you, don't put dirty socks under my pillow. Because at some point it's going to come back to bite you. So those are the kind of things that we do to each other. All our lives, by the way, all our lives. It's never been a time when we haven't had to have our senses aware that one of us is going to try and get the other. We do it weekly, we do it monthly, we do it yearly, we do it our entire lives. So I'm sure it will happen again in the future. But come on, if you think about it, if you really, really think about it, how many practical jokes can last 6 months?